How we doing, Mr. Ty? What's your last name, Harry?
It's Kayafas.
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 You are Greek.
Yeah.
Kayafas.
Actually, if you look it up, the original name is Kayafa.
Kayafa.
So back in the day in Europe, a lot of families got their names. They were like nicknames based on what you did. If you were a shoemaker, paputsas, and this and that. So Kaifa, just so you know, he was the Roman high priest that gave the orders for the execution of Jesus Christ, so you know.
Oh, shit.
So I asked my dad, how would we have gotten that name? Well, he came up with a theory. He's like, there was probably a judge here in town, and the theory is, or the story goes, not theory, but the story goes that this guy was a hard-ass prosecutor, judge type of guy, and he goes, man, you judge like Kayafa. You judge like Kayafa. So eventually that probably stuck with him, hence from Kayafas. So he was probably a judge, my dad told me, and this is a story, and that's what they told him. And they told him, you judge like that guy Kayafa who gave the orders to execute Jesus. He was a Roman judge.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's how the name originated, so you know.
Oh, man.
And the name is in biblical terms. You can find it, and it's called Kayafa. You'll see
Kayafa.
K-A-I-A-F-A. You'll see it in the Bible. And I'll tell you the craziest thing to blow your mind. So you know at cigar lounges, there's a lot of clubs and church clubs that go there, and they read literature from like Bibles and stuff and talk about this. Well, I was in a cigar cave about 6-7 years ago, and there was a group around the table, and I happened to be sitting next to that group, and they started talking about the Bible. And Kaifa came up, and they started talking about Kaifa. I was just listening. I got up, I went to my pocket, I took my driver's license out, and I just put it, I didn't say a word, I just put it on the table. And one of the guy picks it up, I go, and he looking at it, he's like, oh my God. He's like, you are Caiaphas? I go, yeah, that's from the Bible. I says, here you go. They all wanted to talk to me for like an hour there, so I sat down in their Bible study class. It was fucking awesome, man.
Holy shit.
It was great. It was great.
That is hilarious.
So all the names, I think back in the day, even Greco, you know, it came from something.
Well, Greco, are we rolling, Tyler? That's a good intro for Harry Kayafas. Kaya, like a Y sound?
Yeah, Kayafas. Yeah.
Kayafas. Yeah, Greco means Greek or the Greek.
Yes.
So we're from Sicily. We came over from Sicily to Ybor City, but assuming we came from Greece before that, right? Like I'm sure that's how we got that name. Everyone, you can look at Calabro, Amalfi, all of those last names, Rossi. They're all little cities, towns in Italy.
Correct. Well, if you look up Sicily in the book, right in the dictionary now, Sicily is Sicilia. It's a Greek name. It's called Sicilia.
Talking to here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So Sicily.
That's why the headphones help, though, because you can actually hear if you're making noise into the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As long as you remember to talk into the mic, it's fine.
I will. So Sicily was called Sicilia, and Sicilia was a Greek name, and there was a lot of Greeks, and still there's Greeks living in Sicily right now. And the Italians that are in Sicily, the old school Italians, the older gentlemen, they speak ancient Greek.
Oh, yeah.
They speak ancient Greek.
Yeah.
And I don't even know it.
In 2017, I visited Sicily. We were there for about a week.
Yeah.
And I went to the small towns where the Greco family was from. And the Machado family was from, which was from Cefalù, Sicily. So I went we rented a car, drove all around Sicily. I went with my mom. And there's a ton of Greek ancient ruins all over. I mean, the Greeks, they totally inhabited that island. A lot of those people look Greek because they are Greek.
We are. Well, we were mixed. Remember, we were there that was during the civilization and the Western society that was created in Europe. Through Italy and Greece, Egypt, and all those places, that was where the world was functioning at the time, where there was trade and monies being traded and stuff like that. And that was the beginning of humanity. As you know it today, the Western world, right?
The modern world, right? Democracy, currency, establishing a representative government with senators and basically Congress people.
Yeah, creating a full governments,
And then things went south, opportunities fell out, and then our people came to America. I mean, that's the short story.
Story.
So you're the owner and the builder and the operator of Sterling Cigar Lounge in Ybor City.
Yes.
We just toured it. Incredible building.
Thank you, Garrett.
You've got a Korean restaurant on the ground floor.
Yes.
The next 2 floors are basically a boutique hotel.
Correct.
and then on the top floor is Sterling Cigar Lounge.
Correct, yes.
So where you're originally from New York, but going back to our families, did your family come straight from Greece to New York City?
They did. My mom came. Actually, my mom didn't come to New York. When she came from Greece, she was a refugee, actually. And she came, her dad had been in North Carolina prior to her coming here. So when she came here, she landed in North Carolina as a little girl. She was probably about 6 years old and came to North Carolina and grew up in the South.
Wow.
Yeah, she grew up in the South, yeah. And my dad, he was a merchant marine, left home at 17 years old and started working on the ships to try to support his family. And he did that for about 10 years, traveling all over the world on the Liberty ship. It was a cargo ship, and he did that. And one day he jumped ship. Well, he didn't jump ship. He walked off, but they call it jumping ship.
Right.
He just walked off with one of his buddies in the middle of the night. They were in Illinois, down near the St. Lawrence River where the boat was docked. And him and his buddy just walked off one night, and they called it a day. And my dad took the bus over to New York, and that's the story. That's how he started in New York.
Damn. And then you were in construction for, you said, over 30 years in New York.
30
So what
years.
did your father do?
My dad started off in the painting business, and he also ran a diner back in the early 70s. Then the diner business wasn't going so great, so he transitioned into just doing painting. So he was doing a lot of painting work all over Manhattan.
Subcontracting,
Yes.
owned his own company.
A lot of stuff, a little smaller jobs he did, a lot of painting stuff and little small repair jobs. And afterwards, when my brother and me arrived to the company, we built it to what it is today. And we started doing a lot bigger projects, commercial work, some higher-end apartment renovation stuff in Manhattan, New York, and we took it from there. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it started off as just a painting company,
Just a
but then you
painting
got your
company.
general contractor's license.
Correct.
You started expanding. And you mentioned, too, you worked in Manhattan, Queens, all over the city.
All over the city. We worked a majority of jobs in Manhattan, New York, but we also have done jobs outside of New York. I've worked in Philadelphia. I've worked in Maryland, and I've worked in New Jersey. We've done some bigger high-end projects. We've done some government work and things of that nature. But the majority of our business is in Manhattan, New York, yes.
So how the hell did you make it to Ybor City?
Well, Ybor City. Well, you know what? I was lucky enough to get to visit Ybor City quite a few times. We've been coming down to Tampa, Florida with my mom and my dad for about 30, 40 years. And I always loved Florida, and I knew one day I would live here. I just didn't have the means to live here until now. But I had a desire to be here one day, and the cigars drew me here to be closer here and try to get down here, and here I am, yeah.
It's such an ambitious project, too, from what I can tell, especially on 7th Avenue. It's the only infill from dirt development. I mean, you've built this insane 4-story, beautiful little building right on 7th. So did your ambition start with that? Or were you, like, how did the whole cigar lounge even start out? It was always an idea, but did you imagine you'd do it in Ybor on 7th Ave?
I never imagined it, to be honest with you, to build it down here, and things just kind of came real quick. I was working in construction in Manhattan, New York. I was getting a little tired of that. I did it for a long time, and I was looking for something else. And I searched different places up in New York to see what I can find up there. It was just very difficult to do it up there. And then when I came down to Florida, just on taking a little vacation down here, me and one of my buddies just took a walk along Ybor, and I saw this empty infill lot. And the light bulbs just started going off in my head, Garrett. And I said to myself, well, this may be the place here where I want to do this. And we started.
What year was this?
This was back in 2017
Okay,
when I
so
had
not a
first
lot
saw the
going
lot.
on at all. No real estate buzz here, really. This
Nothing.
is pre-Water Street,
Correct.
pre-Tom Brady.
Correct. Free Tom Brady.
So
and
there's a picture of the lot right there.
That is right.
So it was for sale, just an infill lot. Man, so did your vision just spark immediately when you saw the
Immediately,
location?
sparks were flying in my head. I knew what I wanted to do. I saw this thing. I said, we can make this thing work. The lot was a pretty good size. The only thing we had to look at here was the logistics, if we can do it, because we have two landmark buildings to the left and right of us.
Right.
So we had to make sure we did some major underpinning so those things don't collapse, and that took a lot of effort. I believe we put in 190 pile drivers between that whole lot to make sure that those walls don't collapse. I got about 190 piles in there. We secured the soil real well. We brought in some new soil. We compacted it, and we were able to build our foundations on that.
That's kind of a tricky deal, right? Like you're in between these two historic buildings. What are you telling these property owners on either side? Like, hey, we'll do our best to not screw you guys up over there. What do these pile drivers do? They hold these other existing walls in place?
They're driven into the ground to support the structure. They're long steel rods, about 20 feet long, that are pounded into the ground by heavy duty machinery. And to be honest with you, I was definitely afraid when we started putting these things in. I didn't know what would happen by us shaking the ground,
Yeah.
if it would have caused a collapse, but I would have been liable for that. We're fortunate that things stayed in place, and we actually had to take pre-surveys before we did it, and after surveys to make sure everything was intact. Yeah, we had to monitor the whole thing through.
So
and
you're
through.
on the hook if something happened to either one of those buildings.
Absolutely, yes.
That's a tough sign off.
Very tough, very tough.
And then look at it now, right? Look at this beautiful building you've created right smack dab in the middle of two historic structures. Very typical in New York City. Happens every day.
Yes.
Properties go up like that every day in New
Correct.
York. Not a lot so here, though.
Yeah. In Manhattan, that's a typical type of infill. And you got to remember, in Manhattan, they're doing 30, 40, 50-story buildings in these type of small infills.
Right.
Takes a lot of logistics. We had some great engineers helping us with this. We had native engineering. We had a lot of survey work done to make sure it was possible. And this is where we are today, yes.
Turned out freaking beautiful. Now, do you feel like because you're a New York construction guy, that helped out with this infill?
Absolutely. I had a good vision, and I know how to run guys and projects. So for me, I was very excited to take this on. I thought it was very possible. I thought if we can do this, it would be fantastic down here in Ybor City, something new but old at the same time.
Well, it looks like it fits right in, like it's been there for 100 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I would imagine, right? Like a Florida, Tampa developer would look at a site like that and they'd go, where's the parking? Where are the cars going to go? They're not in that mindset. But a guy from New York, you see an infill lot. That's what you do every day anyway.
Yeah, I can handle something like that. I definitely like taking on new projects, and this was definitely something exciting. I thought that we can pull it off, and I had a good team around me that helped us put this together. My wife was very instrumental here in helping us out with the design. She's an AutoCAD expert as well as a design expert. And she helped us put this building together and get us to this point where we are today.
It's freaking awesome. Now, initially you said you wanted a cigar lounge?
Correct.
So how did it go from that's the initial thought? Now you got a boutique hotel in there. You have a restaurant downstairs. It's kind of evolved into this. It's more than just a cigar lounge. It's a little destination.
Correct. I never thought I'd have the other floors. I was just thinking about a cigar lounge initially. But then when I saw the space and I saw the capabilities with the square footage we have, we started to get to work and started to lay out different ideas and drawings of what could be done. Originally, I had this cigar lounge on the first floor, but then when I realized and I got information that I was able to do 4 floors, I says, well, you know what? Let's bring the lounge to the top floor. Let's make it different. Let's separate it from whatever's here now. Let's go to the top floor. And we started playing around with different ideas and designs, and then we started talking about doing a cigar smoking experience.
Right.
Hence, we created the second and third floors, which have the Airbnbs, which have balconies where you can smoke your
Airbnb
cigars.
is such that term doesn't do what you have justice. You walk into those floors, you have a little lobby, you've got a hallway. It does not feel like an Airbnb. It feels like a boutique hotel.
Like a boutique hotel.
And how many units?
We got 7 units.
7 units.
Yeah.
Look at these pictures. They're beautiful. And you've pulled in the colors of Ybor City too, right? You've got these kind of dark tones, these handsome Cigar City type looks. It's very, very well done. Really, really nice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we try to give it that modern but retro, a little old school look, a little combo, a couple of things happening at the same time.
And they've all got balconies, correct?
Correct, yes.
So you can take a little toke on your balcony. Really, really cool. I was telling Tyler too, on the way there today, I was like, man, if someone wanted to visit Tampa and experience the Cigar City, you have that. I think it's a Hampton Inn in Ybor,
Correct.
right? Is a Hampton Inn.
It's a Hampton.
But something like this is so much more Ybor flavorful, right? Like
Yes.
you have a cigar lounge above you. You're right on 7th. You walk out. You can feel the energy. I would love for there to be 10 times as many buildings like this in Ybor.
Yes.
I think that would really push some of the visitors and the tourism in a positive direction.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. I think these type of projects can help bring Ybor City to the forefront of what it should be today, since it is the cigar capital of the world and this is the birthplace of cigars. I think more projects like this around the Ybor area, I think would greatly help us. Yeah.
You think you're going to do another one, or are you pretty tapped out on this one?
For now, I'm tapped out.
You told me how much of a pain in the ass it was.
Yeah, but maybe in the future, when things get a little more settled, I can have some more visions, and we can try this somewhere else perhaps as well. Sure.
Let's talk about the challenges in terms of the development of the site. Because you said it was extensive. I mean, it's very expensive to build something like this. There's fire codes. There's, you're building in a historic area, but you're also adhering to obviously modern building codes. So that I'm sure there's challenges in there and probably a lot of money.
Yes, there was a lot of codes to go through. You have to go through the Tampa City Council, through the building department. We had to follow a lot of procedures and codes and a lot of new codes that have been developed as well. But we were able to get through those as well. It was a challenge.
How did council react to the vision and the idea of this?
We had a pretty good reaction from the Tampa Council. The fact that we wanted to build this thing from scratch and make it look old school like we did, and bring all these nice ideas. And we have a clean place. There's a nice restaurant on the ground floor as well. I think they were excited to see us, so they gave us the thumbs up, which we were lucky that they did. A lot of good people that we were able to work with in the city, and we were fortunate.
It'd be tough to pull this off today.
I think it's a little tougher. I think now there's a lot more building happening in Tampa right now. I think there's a lot more laws that are happening due to a lot of buildings being erected at the present. I think it still can be done. I hope it still can be done. But yeah, hopefully maybe one day we try another one.
God, it'd be great. And I think I think Tampa needs it in general, right? We have so many large projects going on that get so much attention. Correct. Right? You've got Gasworks, Ybor Harbor, Tampa Heights projects, Water Street, these massive scale projects. But if they're not connected by these small infill developments, what are we doing? We're driving our car from one place to the next. It'd be really cool if more guys like you would come in and take these smaller lots to create, more of a full puzzle, I guess you could say.
Yes, and it could be done. There's quite a lot of people moving into Florida, especially the Tampa area. And I think as people come here, there's a lot of great people coming in with a lot of great visions as well. And I think this can be the norm down here, where people can take a lot, just like we do in Manhattan, New York, and create something special.
It's really, really nice, man. So tell us exactly about, I guess we'll go from floor to floor. So the restaurant downstairs, you mentioned they actually wanted the space before you even started construction.
Yeah, they saw that we were doing construction there, and through the grapevine, they knew we wanted to lease out a space on the bottom. And we had some very beautiful people come and approach us to see if they can open up a restaurant down on the first floor. And they've had some other successful restaurants here in Tampa. So we decided to give them an opportunity, and they were very patient for us to wait and finish the construction. And as you can see, they opened up a beautiful Korean restaurant down on the first floor, where they have very tasty food. It's a nice, comfortable place to sit inside, or you can sit outside as well. There's some seating outside as well.
It's really, really cool. Ybor Seoul, Seoul, like Seoul, Korea. Really, really sweet. Kind of an interesting type of food for a cigar-themed lounge, though, right? You wouldn't expect it to be a Korean restaurant.
Something different, but I was thinking just along terms of like big cities like Los Angeles and New York, where you have these nice Japanese-style places with bars and different styles. And I was thinking more of the Asian theme.
I love that though.
And
It's
we were
like a
excited.
very mix of culture like that. But that's Ybor, right? Like Ybor is all over the place anyway.
Correct.
You know, it was founded in this incredible melting pot of culture, right?
Yes.
The Sicilians and the Germans and the Cubans and the black families that came and made
Yes.
Ybor its,
Yes.
you know, give it its amazing connotation that it has today. Yeah, it's really interesting, man. It's a beautiful spot too, the way they've built it out. Now, did you guys design their unit downstairs?
We built it all out for them. We put the majority of finishes. We installed those as well. And then when they came in, they retrofitted a little bit, like the bar top and a few things they put in themselves. And they installed all the equipment themselves. So we kind of worked together to make it happen.
And then on the second and third floor, that's where you have your boutique hotel. Do you have a name for it, or are you just?
No, we do. We, you know, this whole building goes back to music and cigars. And me, I was a big music fan, a big rock and roll fan. And the only name I can think of, because I had to come up with a name, was a Hotel California. I thought it was a really cool name, and I thought a lot of people can relate to that song because it's a worldly song.
Living it up at the Hotel California. You're from New York. You got a Korean restaurant downstairs. I mean, it's I love it. The melting pot. I love it. Right next to the 7-Eleven building, which I believe is for sale.
Yes.
But
yes.
the problem, going back to why this doesn't occur more, why there's not more infill development like this, it's so expensive. I think that 7-Eleven building is for sale for like $6 or $7 million or something like that.
Oh my God.
You know, and I'm sure that in 2017, 18, you paid basically nothing for the dirt. I shouldn't say nothing. I'm sure it was
we got a great
but
deal. I was very lucky and fortunate by God's blessings to be able to be here and to see it, and to actually have a opportunity to be able to purchase this land. I was very excited because I wanted to do something from scratch.
Yeah.
Something that I can just build from scratch and say, you know, I got my finger all over this, and we can build it from scratch. Yes,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've got your artwork and your albums and the rock and roll type vibe.
Correct.
Like you've put your touch, you can tell, on every floor. It's really done very well.
Correct.
So it sounds like the city really didn't give you many challenges to creating something like this.
It didn't give us a lot. It was a lot of processing and paperwork and a lot of waiting in between. There's a lot of things to wait for to get processed. There's a lot of inspections. We had the city of Tampa was very cool. We had some cool inspectors that were showed us what we needed to do to get over our hurdles. So we were very fortunate in that fact that we had some good people working with us to make this happen. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we could get more infill. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like a city issue, though. It sounds like a market issue. Like land is just so expensive. Construction materials are so expensive that it's not very conducive for someone to come in and do something like this.
It's not. You also have to think about your budget. If you're spending so much money on building a structure and expecting to make income, well, you can only spend so much before you can actually collect. So you have to be very careful in how much money you want to put out in building an infill project, and make sure you're going to get your return. Because if you have to wait 30 years to get a return, it's a long time.
Well, you didn't. I mean, there was no corners cut in terms of fixtures and finishes. I mean, you've done beautiful finishes all throughout, from the first all the way to the rooftop floors. Do you think today someone could get away with a development like this if they did do less higher end finishes? Or have the numbers been shifted so dramatically that you don't even maybe think it's possible to pull this off?
I really, with today's market, what I'm seeing out there from the big general contractors and the big builders, I don't know if it's possible or conducive to build something like this now. I think the costs would be astronomical today. It can be done, but is it worth the money to build is the question.
Yeah, right. Can you make a return? Can you make enough from your Airbnb and the restaurant and the cigar lounge to pay back this massive, massive principal? I mean, we're talking millions of dollars to pull something like this off, right?
Right.
It's interesting, too, that, you know, you've came from New York. We've talked about Angela Yu. She owns Grand Cathedral Cigar Lounge.
Yes.
She's awesome. She's been on the show, too.
Yes.
You know, she's from California, right? You're
Yes.
from New York. A lot of people say, stop people from moving here. You know, Tampa's full, Florida's full. But if you don't have creative people from different places moving here, we don't have Sterling Cigar Lounge. We don't have Grand Cathedral. We
That's
don't have
correct.
these incredible
That's
places that
correct.
people go to and enjoy.
Yes, even Angela, she's a go-getter. Everything she does, she's a hustler like we are from New York. They have the same principles in mind when they're doing something. And I think she brought that to the forefront as well with Cathedral Cigars. It's a gorgeous place to go and visit as well. Incredible,
idea.
incredible.
So unique, so
Yes.
just cool. You walk
Yes.
in, it's an amazing place to be.
Yes, sir.
You know, and you wouldn't get that maybe with someone that's from here necessarily. Maybe they're just not thinking about something like that. You need that outside, you need those outside voices. As much as they're frustrating when they pull in front of you in traffic with the
Yes.
California license
Yes.
plate, the New York license plate, it's very necessary. You're a part of the revitalization of Cigar City in a lot of ways.
Thank you. Thank you
You
very
really
much.
are. And what's happening with Daryl Shaw and Gasworks, that's all well and great. But what happens when they take a trip down 7th? You know, you're going to need spots along the way that are revitalized and new.
Correct.
And what's this new place? What's that new
Correct.
place?
Yes, and Mr. Daryl Shaw, he's very instrumental in bringing such beautiful projects into Ybor City, and he's helping every business out here to make the growth, the proper growth, so everybody can have a flourishing business. We're very fortunate to have him here.
Oh, 100%. We're fortunate to have you guys too. And we're also fortunate to have, you know, the people that own Ybor Soul, right?
Yes.
For them to come in
Correct.
and envision a Korean restaurant on 7th Avenue and a cigar lounge. Like what an interesting vision.
Incredible vision. And
it's popular.
Yes, and we're lucky we have good tenants. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story, Garrett. So when she wanted to come down and she wanted to lease the space out from us after she saw us, we were open before she was. She actually reached out to me to ask me what she should name the place. She thought that I had some great ideas in how I did my place and how we named it. And I told her, well, you know what? I said, it's going to be Korean. We're in Ybor. And Ybor Soul, almost like soul food and Seoul, Korea. I thought it went together. I thought it was a catchy type of a name, and she loved it, and we went with it.
That's
Ybor
so perfect.
Soul.
I love it. Look at how that fits right in on 7th Avenue. Now, did you use a local contractor that had done Ybor projects before, so they knew about the brick, they knew about that parapet up top?
I did not. I was fortunate enough that my architect, Mr. John Thompson from Wilder Architects, he's very knowledgeable about Ybor City and the buildings in Ybor City. He's also on the board, so he knows a lot of the colors and materials that are able to be installed here. So he was able to guide us with our selections, and we had several samples that we presented, and he's very knowledgeable about the buildings in Ybor City and all the codes. So yes, Mr. John Thompson from Wilder Architecture, he was also very instrumental. I don't think we would have this building today if it wasn't for Mr. John Thompson.
Now, what is the approval process for a facade on 7th Avenue? I would imagine they're strict in what you can and can't do.
They are very strict on the facade. First of all, you have to submit the drawings and then the samples of the materials that you want to use. They're very strict in the fact that the lower facades on 7th Avenue, they are required to have woodwork. So you can't have any aluminum type channeling and stuff like that for the facades. You need to have the classic wood look with the black finishes is what they required from us. And we also did, in the entrance to the lobby, we installed some classic cast stone, which also the Italian club down the block has a similar type cast stone, and they love that as well.
Interesting. So you have to make it look like an old, early 20th century storefront.
Correct.
With wood materials.
Correct. You got to make it blend in. They don't want it looking like an eyesore. So they really were diligent in letting us know that they needed it to match, and we provided a lot of different samples until they approved the right samples to get it done.
Man. Interesting. Fits like a glove right in there. Now, was there a maximum number of stories that you had to abide by here?
Yes, we were able to do. This is the funny thing. When I first purchased the property, we were only allowed to do 3 stories. As time went from between 2017 and 19, the codes changed and they allowed a 4th story.
Oh shit!
And we were fortunate.
Oh, that's awesome. So the fourth story is where you have the lounge. Because from the third story, you wouldn't really, you'd have a view, but certainly not like you do. You guys have that front rooftop right on 7th. You can
Correct.
look up and down 7th. It's
Correct.
really an awesome spot.
Thank you.
Kind of interesting. It changed while you're in the process of the development.
Yeah.
Man, it turned out great though. I mean, when you're up there and you look down 7th Avenue, you're smoking a cigar, you're drinking a little whiskey, it's like, wow, like I feel like I'm on a little tour, like a little vacation right now.
And it is a vacation. A lot of people, we even get a lot of our Airbnb customers, they do staycations. They actually live here in Tampa. So they like to come out and spend their evening over at Sterling Cigar Lounge and stay downstairs and just do a little staycation. That's very popular here.
I like that idea. And check out the inside too. Some of the fixtures and the finishes and the wallpaper are really interesting. Like this Art Deco look here in the lounge. Really a pretty look. And you said your wife was in design and she did a lot of this.
Correct. My wife, she was very creative in getting a little of the old school look here and making it kind of new and retro as well, yes.
So you've been open for how long? A few years?
No, I've only been open for 10 months
That's
now.
right, 10 months.
10
but
months.
You started in 2017.
I started the initial design phase started in 17. By the time we broke ground, we were supposed to break ground before the pandemic, but once that hit, I was delayed a couple of months. But we did start during the pandemic. Wow. In 20. We started in 20.
20.
We started at the beginning of 20. Yes.
So start to finish, you've been working on this thing for 7 years, but you've only been open 10 months.
Correct.
Wow, amazing. Now, being an owner of this real estate, this beautiful building, and a cigar lounge, I'm sure you've met a lot of the other people that have had businesses in Ybor City for quite a while. What are their thoughts on a new building on 7th Avenue? First of all, when was the last building built on 7th Avenue besides Hotel Haya? I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
So to see you, they must look at you and go, "Who's this guy?"
I've had some pretty beautiful reactions. I've had some very beautiful people that own businesses adjacent to me and further down the block actually come and visit with me, and we've become good friends today with a lot of people who love to come and spend some time with us at the lounge, and they love the project, and they also invite me to their businesses. So we kind of have a nice rapport with the local business owners. Everybody has been very, very cordial to us and very nice to us, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad people are accepting of a new guy coming in and building this ambitious project. Where did you draw inspiration for the cigar lounge, right? I mean, did you visit a lot of the other cigar lounges in Ybor City and go to the J.C. Newman factory and learn before you started this endeavor?
No, I did not. I smoked mostly in the cigar lounges in New York City, where I worked all my life, and I visited a lot of different lounges all over the East Coast since I've been 21 years old. I enjoyed cigars, and I had a vision of what I wanted, and that was based on the stuff that I didn't like. So I wanted to bring something that everyone can enjoy, and I wanted to have a place where women and men can both come and enjoy the cigar smoking, so it can be beautiful. And that's what we've created here. We have both men and women who love the lounge, who come in to smoke and have a drink, or sometimes just to have a drink. So we try to create a vision so everybody can be comfortable coming here.
My wife doesn't mind them. I know Tyler's girlfriend hates cigar smoke, but I've actually learned women really do appreciate it. There's a pretty good sized population of women that like cigars. Yes. Drew Newman, they have a whole lady population. They've got a She Smokes Too podcast, which is all about women and cigars. They have a ton of women that work at that cigar factory. These are my great-great-grandmother's cigar rolling equipment. Like, oddly enough, women have been very heavily involved in the industry since its inception, really.
Yes, they have. We see quite a bit of women smoking cigars, especially, I would say, on the weekends. We have just as many women smoking cigars as men, and they love them, We also we have a women's cigar club, actually, that comes up and does some events with us. They're called Ash Wednesdays. And they come up. That's Angie from Ash Wednesdays, and they've been up a few times and hosted a few events there. And I was just blown away watching women smoke cigars and how much they love them, and they do love them just as much as men.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there anything in the future that you're thinking about having done this project? Like, I wish I added that, or maybe we should change this. Anything different?
I could have done a few things a little different after the fact, but overall, I'm very pleased. I'm 98% happy with everything. If I could change something, I don't know what it would be, but I'm pretty grateful to have what we do have. The vision came through for us, and I'm very grateful. At this moment, I wouldn't change anything.
I agree. I think you nailed it, honestly. I just wanted to know if, just because it's such an interesting endeavor, that if there was something that you thought, damn, should have done that. But
I probably would have bought the 7-Eleven next door, to be honest, and expanded the roof lounge.
Right. Well, that'd be a hell of a size. I mean, you'd have that whole corner right there. That's a good idea. Yeah. What's the property? I think it's like an office, residential, mixed use, right on the train tracks, kind of behind you, like catty corner behind you.
Right behind me, we have the churches behind me, the relevant churches behind us.
Okay.
And
you know what I'm talking about, Tyler? That one development, brand new. It's a long development along the train tracks.
Oh yeah, that's the new development.
Yeah,
that's a 200-unit short-term rental up there. It's beautiful. It's almost
200 short-term rentals. So boutique hotel, Airbnb.
Correct.
Oh, so that'll be a game changer.
Yeah, so we got a lot of new customers coming.
Yeah, there it is on the left.
Yep, that's right. You got that's a 200-unit building in there.
That's a good-looking building.
That's
too.
right. That is beautiful.
And a huge project for Ybor City.
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of the developers that are making this from bar and bar. The project managers, they come up and hang out with us at Sterling.
Oh, I bet you they love what you've created, because a lot of the people that are going to be renting are going to go to your lounge.
Correct.
100%.
Correct, yes. We're hoping.
Ybor needs, well, they definitely will. Ybor needs a lot more of this. Yeah, I know it's a touchy subject, but I did want to talk to you just about like the transition of Ybor, right? Obviously, Ybor has this connotation, this negative connotation where people are, afraid to go at night, or the Ybor shootings. People harp on that fact, even though it seems like it's a rarity for the most part. How do you think all of that shifts? Do you think it's just time is the factor? Over time, the neighborhood will transition?
I think in general, look, you're going to have these sort of things can happen anywhere. I think over the last 20 years, though, I think Ybor has definitely raised its game as far as being a nice place to come. And I definitely think it's safer to come. I believe this can happen. These kind of things can happen in any big city. But I think as time's going here, we're getting great people coming here and investing.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Darryl Shaw, who's investing his time and money into Ybor City. I think with great people like him and other great people, I think the place can be thriving.
I talked to Darryl about this, and he said that the residential, getting residents in, more residents in Ybor will play a huge role in the transformation of it, because as more people live there, they're demanding safety, they're demanding cleanliness, right? They take pride in their neighborhood. I think you are a big part of it, creating spaces for people to enjoy. That development, the short-term rental behind you. I think site development, creating all those townhomes, right? Getting people into the western side of Ybor. And then I'm pretty sure near the Columbia, there's another development on East 7th Avenue where there's like 70-something units going in.
Yeah.
It'll all take time.
No, it's going to happen, and there's a reason. These developers here building these beautiful structures, they will not be building them if they didn't know what was happening. They can see what's happening. You have people actually making an effort to live in Ybor City. You get a lot of younger generation people that are making it their place where they want to live. They see that it's happening. There's beautiful restaurants, bars, and a lot of different things to do all around the area. You can jump on a trolley. You can take tours. And you're getting a lot of young people now coming to Ybor who actually want to live there and make that their place to live. I think the visions of these developers is incredible. I think they will be filled without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think you're getting some beautiful people coming in who actually want to live here. And we're seeing them because they're coming up to our lounge. We talk to people every day. And a lot of people I talk to, they actually live in Ybor right off of 7th Avenue. And they made it their spot because they wanted to come here and stay in a place where it's thriving, almost remind them like a little small city.
Are you seeing a trend in those people? Like maybe, are they younger? Are they more like what I would imagine Ybor is almost like Tampa's Brooklyn, where it's this more flavorful, more cultural brick, a little more heavy. It attracts that type of person.
Absolutely, you get a lot of single people moving down here. They like the nightlife. I think you're going to get more single people or people who are just rooming together.
Yeah.
Who can save a little money on rooming together, and they like coming here. There's action for them. They don't feel like they're closed in. Maybe living somewhere further away in a rural area, maybe in a community area. This is a place where they can feel like they're in a small little boutique city. And there's things happening where the action is always happening.
Can you pull up the article, Tyler? This just came out. Ybor City was picked as like one of the top 50 neighborhoods in America to live in. And a lot of people, every news outlet will post the article and then people comment on social media. And I saw a lot of comments like, what are they smoking? What are they talking about? Like, Ybor's dangerous, all this sort of stuff. I think that's bullshit, man. Ybor has so much positive that so many people ignore. It is the coolest little neighborhood ever. The history, the brick buildings, so unique to Florida. It has so much to offer. And one little shooting every once in a while. I mean, I know it's a big deal. I know it's a horrible thing. But like you said, it happens in every city across the country.
Correct.
There's ways to mitigate that. More police on the corner, flood the area with police. They've talked about a curfew. Who knows if that's a good idea? Yeah, here it is. Money's top 50 places to live in the United States is out, and Ybor City made the cut. I mean, what an interesting thing. Cigar City, Sicilian influence.
Beautiful.
Yeah, look at this. Boutique shops, award-winning food, lively venues, and cozy cafes trucked inside old cigar factories. Money also made mention of the free roaming roosters that give Ybor City an extra dash of color and flair. Color and flair, an eccentric district is how they describe it. People want to live in a place that has character.
That's right. And just because of the old school nature and how this place started, it's got a lot of character, and it's one of the oldest places in all of Tampa where people can see some history and feel like there's some culture here. And I think they love coming here as a destination. Mm-hmm. We get people coming off the cruise ships that are coming through here.
Oh, I bet.
We get so many people in Ybor City from every walk of the world. I mean, you name the country, they've walked through Ybor City. They stop here. They spend a couple of days here, and they love it. They love it.
I mean, I get it, right? I totally get why someone would think it's a really cool place. There's so many people that think of Florida as this bland, boring, no character, no history. We have an incredible history and an incredible character, and it's all baked into this sweet little neighborhood in Ybor City. And I think as time goes on and more people create projects like you have and Gasworks and this short-term rental property, the 200-something units, as all of that gets completed, there's going to be more news articles and more people will find out and more visitors. Correct. And I think slowly, however long that'll take, the narrative will shift, and it'll shift from, oh, that's dangerous, to what an amazing place. Ybor City's incredible. Look Correct. At the character. Look at the history.
Correct. And to be honest, a lot of the visitors that we get, even friends that I invite down from New York to come and stay with us, they love it here. People come here. They absolutely fall in love with this place. As a matter of fact, I had a few friends come down. Now they want to come down every 3 months and visit me and stay with us. They just loved it so much here. It's a different style. And the culture here in Ybor City, remember, these are all immigrants from different countries that came here together to build this place. And if you think about it, all the major cities in the United States are all built by immigrants who came here from another country and put it together. So it's one of the old school places that was built by immigrants and inhabited by immigrants, and they built this place. And I think that gives it its culture and its greatness.
When I was a little kid, my great-grandmother used to tell me stories of the lamplighters, but this is like right when electricity was getting going, and Ybor City had oil lamps along the street.
Lamps, that's right.
She was born in Ybor, and she told me about the guys that would come out, probably 14 years old, before labor laws and all that, maybe younger, but they would torch all the gas lanterns in Ybor. That's such a cool story that maybe a city like Orlando we always shit on Orlando, but like Disney World, right? And these theme parks and parking lots and highways, and there's no flavor to that where we really have that right here. I think it's just a matter of time before the scale tips and the word gets out, because I would imagine people in New York don't really know about Ybor City,
They
right?
don't. Very few
like,
do.
what are your friends? I mean, when they hear about what you've done and where you've moved and what you've created, do they even kind of know what you're talking about?
They don't. Most of them, when you tell them, like, they will know like Tampa and Clearwater and those type of areas. But when you tell them Ybor City, they're almost like, where is that? It's in Tampa. So I think people are learning about it even more now. People who didn't know are definitely getting to know it, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think it's going to be fantastic too. Are you in a flood zone where you're at?
I am not in a flood zone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
Hey, there's kind of a hill, really. If you look from the water,
It's a little bit
what's
of
the
a
street
hill.
where 7-Eleven is? Is that
16th Street.
16th? If you look down south on 16th, you kind of are on a big hill.
I am on a hill.
Because the concern, my grandfather told me, I think it was like in the early 1920s, the big hurricane. Maybe it was a little earlier than that. There was water at the foot right there at the Columbia restaurant coming up to the door.
Correct. But we have the channel right behind us, so we don't want any hurricanes. So let's hurricanes stay away from us.
Yeah, man.
Okay, redirect those somewhere else. For right now, we're okay, thank God. Tampa's been lucky, and we're very fortunate.
Yeah, knock on wood. We really have been lucky. That something like that would be so devastating for the city. People don't understand the real impact. If we got nailed, it would be horrific. Davis Island's underwater. Ybor might get some. I mean, it would be really, really bad. So,
but like anything else, Garrett, even in catastrophes, if you think about it, people are resilient. People will rebuild. People will do things, and especially now, I think you have a lot of great people here in Tampa. They won't let this thing fall by their wayside ever.
Yeah.
They'll do whatever it takes. So I'm very confident in being down here. I think that Ybor City has been going great. I think we have some great people investing in Ybor City, and hopefully we can keep it like that, because it really is a piece of history. It's an old school piece of history that those things have been disappearing a lot lately, and we don't see a lot of that stuff anymore. So if we can keep that tradition here and keep that beautiful piece of history going, I think it's always going to draw people and attract people. As people go, remember, people visit different countries to see the old monuments wherever they go, whether they go to Italy and see the Colosseum, or whether they go to Greece and see the Parthenon. People always want to see old school and how things were done.
the old town, the historic part of town, right?
Correct.
What do you when people visit your boutique hotel, Hotel California, and they want to know what's there to do around here? Do you offer maybe not a partnership, but like a tour with JC Newman? Like, do you direct your people when they visit?
I do. When you get off the elevator, I have a lot of different pamphlets of different things that people can do and sites that they can go and see. And I usually tell the people who come in, I usually talk with them and let them know different places they can go. We have beautiful Channel Side. We have the beaches they can go to. We have a lot of history here. We can send them right down the block. We have a beautiful comedy club. We have beautiful restaurants. We have nice, beautiful cigar lounges and different cigar lounges where we can try one each every day and try each one, because each one of them has something different to offer.
I was talking to Andrea Gonsmart. She was on the show. She's the, I think, 4th or 5th generation owner of the Columbia Group, right? So they own a ton of real estate, right? They own the whole Columbia block. They own across the street. They own right next door, Casa Santa Stefano restaurant. They own a lot of real estate.
Correct.
She has big ambitions. I mean, she wants to turn that whole east side of Ybor into kind of like what the west side is, right? The west side has Hotel Haya and Your Spot and a lot of these new places. Gasworks is over there. The east side needs a little love. She's going to do that. She's going to create, I think, a cigar lounge. She wants to do, I think she said a rooftop cigar lounge down there. All of these projects in the next 5, 6, however many years they take to complete, we're talking about really a completely transformed city.
Transform, yeah, and I think she can be very instrumental down here in making things happen, because I think the more that's built, I think it just creates a great vibe for everybody, because I think all the new businesses that are built, I don't think it detracts. I think it adds, because now now you make it a destination for a lot of people to want to come and see what's going on. Very similar to Clearwater Beach. A lot of people didn't know Clearwater Beach 20, 30 years ago. If you told somebody up north, where's Clearwater Beach, they couldn't answer you. Well, now they do. And you can see what they've done down there. They've built some beautiful hotels, and people are making it destinations from other countries to come to Tampa, Clearwater, and St. Petersburg.
You've got great ownership that's all on the same page. Like, you are right there with the Gonsmarts, with Drew Newman, with Daryl, right? All of the owner-operators, the real estate owners, they all have the same positive ambition about Ybor City. There's not one group that's saying, we don't want to build anything. Let's keep Ybor, the nightlife, greasy, whatever you want to call it, destination that it is, right? A lot of the ownership wants Ybor to become a more culturally historic focused destination versus someplace you go on Friday night to get wasted and do stupid shit.
Correct.
Right? Everyone seems to be on the same page, which is really nice.
Yes, we're very fortunate. Now that they've done a lot of good things down here, I think it is a destination spot. And I think more people are coming through here. They're even spending time. You get a lot of people off the cruise ships who probably wouldn't have stayed down here 20 years ago, but now they're staying an extra day or two and staying in Ybor before they get on the boat.
That's an interesting fact. Yes, you get cruise ship people coming to your lounge too.
Correct.
Because I would imagine you're coming from Ohio like 10 years ago. I don't know. You just probably get a hotel, you go to the cruise, and you're done. Now they probably come and go, wait a second, Cigar City, well, let's stay an extra night. We have to check this place out.
Correct. And not only from Tampa and the States, but you get people from other countries that come over here specifically to Florida to take cruises, and they don't even know that Ybor City is here till they get here. And once they see it and they figure it out, they don't want to leave, and they usually come back again, is what I'm noticing.
I think that's so cool. And what's interesting too is there's some, not like super high end, but some nicer stuff coming in, right? There's Tommy's Chop House.
Tommy's Chop House. We've got the Raw Bar down the block from there. So you have a lot of great people that want to do
like
things.
Date night, like nice type stuff. Get dressed up, go to dinner.
Yes.
Which I think supports people visiting too. When people visit, they maybe want to go out, get dressed up, have a cocktail, listen to live music.
Agreed.
Copper Shaker is a great example of that.
Too,
very nice cocktail
We love
lounge.
it there too. We visit Copper Shaker as well. Great place, yes.
Amazing. Well, I think what you've done is incredible. I hope that people look at your project and go, I want to do something like that. My vision, man, I would love to create a space like you have, where you've incorporated retail, 2 floors of a hotel, and then a cigar lounge up top. Probably have to wait for the next market correction to make it happen.
No, you'll make it happen. You'll make it happen, Garrett.
All right. Well, Harry, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show. This was really fun, man.
Appreciate you having me here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for stopping by and introducing yourselves to us. We respect you guys a lot, and please come by and see us at Sterling, okay?
Absolutely. And then lastly, shout out where you guys are. So you guys are Ybor City on 7th Avenue, right in the central Ybor.
Right in center of the Ybor. Our address is 1531 East 7th Avenue, right in the heart of Ybor City. Please come down and see us at Sterling. We open at noon and we close midnight during the week and 1 a.m. on the weekends. Please come by and see us.
And then if people want to stay at Hotel California,
they can stay there. If they want to stay in the Hotel California, you will see us online where you can make reservations, or we have business cards upstairs where you can grab one and get online and go ahead and book yourself a room. SterlingCigarBar.com, folks. Beautiful. All righty. That's it. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like it. Check us out on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, give us a comment, give us some feedback. We want to know how we're doing. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.